Hi everyone, so I am filming this on Halloween, hence the black lipstick, and I got this shirt here. So that's what I'm wearing for Halloween tonight to take my daughters out for trick-or-treating. So you'll obviously see this the next day. So I hope everyone has themselves a great Halloween if you celebrate, and a safe one. So the first book I read last week was When She's Ready by Ruby Dixon. And I'm trying to, I was continue on with the way this is the Rizdaverse. It's called Rizdaverse. So it's basically kind of like within the kind of this, almost similar to like Ice Planet Barbarians, except they're on a, there's like different beings and they're all on this different planet. That's kind of like a farming planet. That's the only thing I can kind of think of. It's like a farming planet. Where kind of like a lot of people go to, disappear, don't have people looking for them. So this one here is book 1 in the Rizdaverse. So we have the characters of Leilani and Tassar. So I thought this was a really cute like novella. So Leilani is a human and Tassar is like a big blue alien. He's like that race of blue aliens that you see on Ice Planet Barbarians. They're, obviously big and blue and muscular, and they have horns and all that different stuff. So he is very much that type of being. So Leilani, I would say she's probably Hawaiian, or what's the people, I think they're Polynesian, I think. I'd say she's definitely more of like the Hawaiian, with her coloring and her hair and everything. And she's a little like kind of bigger boned. A lot of Hawaiians tend to be a little more bigger boned people. And so she thinks she's like, heavy and fat and all that stuff. And to him, he's like, hey, she's tiny, and he's like, he likes her because he's like, I'm not going to break her, that type of thing. So she was given land on this planet, and that's basically what he's like kind of like a ruler of this planet, or like maybe like a king or something like that. He went and gave land to how many of the humans that were kidnapped from Earth. They were given like their freedom, and so he's basically looking out for these women and making sure that they have like protectors, someone who can marry them and, take care of them and the land that they have. So she's basically looking for a husband. So she was given land on the farming planet, but different landowners want to steal her land. You've got like these cat-like beings. There's ones that look kind of like cats. They're trying to like being very covetous and trying to steal her land. Then you got ones that look, I think, kind of like snakes or like lizards. They're trying to steal her land. And so she decides to find someone, to be her mate and protect her land. So she marries Tassar for protection. But they're instantly smitten with each other. Like, she's instantly attracted to him because she's like, she's not been treated well through like how many years of her being a slave to these different alien species. And so with him, it's like he doesn't look at her like lusting or like, a way to like take advantage or abuse her. He looks at her like how you would want to look at a woman, just sexually or just like you want to protect her, and so he doesn't look at her like a piece of meat type of thing. So she's instantly attracted to him, and then he's instantly attracted to her. And so it's like basically their romance of like getting to know each other. It was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it, especially for like the first in the series. And it is a novella, so you kind of get through it pretty quickly. And so the second one that I ended up reading was When She's Married, and this is part of the second of the Ristoverse series. And so this here, I believe it's like a novella too. Yeah, I think this is a novella as well. And this one here, I gave 4 stars. I gave 4 stars to the last one too. I gave 4 stars to this one as well. So we have the characters of Vortigern and Piper. So this one here was definitely more of a marriage of convenience between a human and an alien. So there is content warning for talk of like sexual assault and stalking in this. So Piper is a realist. I said she has been on different planets and ships for years and just wants to settle down with someone who will be kind to her and protect her from other alien species who've not been like kind and gentle to her. I said, think of it as like slaves who were given their freedom, but they're still not treated with respect or like equals. So when she goes to like a store, the alien species look at her with like disgust, you know, and they're like, oh, we don't want to deal with this species, you know, we don't want to deal with this alien species. And the guy who's like the owner of the like store that she goes to shop for goods, he charges her more money than he charges the other people. And so it's like really just sad that, you know, she basically, in order to live here, she's got to deal with like people trying to steal her land. She can't go back home to Earth, so she's trying to make the best of it, you know, on this planet with these other alien species. And so she goes to the local jail and she basically buys Vortigern, you know, so she can have a husband to protect her. So Vortigern is a big blue alien that was a prisoner of war for years. He escaped and was staying on this planet only to kind of like lay low until he can kind of get himself like a job and kind of go off into space and all that stuff and just, you know, kind of do his own thing and not have to worry about like being hunted and things like that. So he's not the marrying type, so he really just reluctantly doesn't want to marry. And so when she buys him and like basically is telling him like, hey, you know, I got you out of that jail, you know, to help you out. Now I just want you to help me out and just get, you know, and let's get married so you can kind of like help me, you know, from some of these people who want to steal my land. And then, you know, once, you know, everything looks calm and cool, then you can kind of like leave if you want to and do your own thing and everything. And so I said, I enjoyed this book, but I said these characters really dealt with a lot of trauma for years. Like she basically was kind of like, you know, let's go and have a baby. And he was really reluctant and was like, no, I don't think we need to, you know, have a child here and all that stuff. So they're kind of like debating back and forth. And then she kind of like understood his like reasoning of why, you know, not to create a child with, you know, within that type of like, you know, environment, you know, as they were, because they're virtual strangers. And so they basically get to know each other, you know, they get to know each other. He gets to know like her life and what it's like for her on this planet. He sees like what she has to deal with. And, you know, she also deals with like, there's the cat species on this planet. I can't really picture them. I kind of think of like the Cowardly Lion, you know, almost, you know, because they have like a mane and stuff and they look like cats. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know if I can be attracted to that, honestly. So, so the one night she ends up like waking up and she sees like someone had broken into her house. And so that kind of scares her. And so she goes and she's trying to clean up the door because the being who went and broke into her house went and, you know, took care of themselves on the door, you know, as kind of like marking their territory. And so even when they were like faking this marriage, there were people that were other beings who kind of didn't want to believe that she was married. And so it was basically their kind of romance of them getting to know each other and all that stuff. And it was good. I really enjoyed that one. I understood, you know, why she was like hesitant and everything, you know, just of her dealing with like, you know, what she dealt with, you know, I can understand. So the last one I read so far, I didn't enjoy it. I ended up giving this one a 2, and I try not to give books a 2. I should have really kind of DNF'd this book, but I wanted to kind of see where it was going in the storyline. So Ruby Dixon introduced like more characters to this series. So I think she's trying to take some of the characters from the series and kind of like do their kind of own stories, you know. So she's trying to introduce these like characters, extra characters and stuff. And I think that kind of like didn't really help with the story. So this one here is When She Purrs by Ruby Dixon. So this is the 3rd book in the series. And so this is the characters of Kim and Nasak. Now, like I said, I should have DNF'd this book. So there was content warning of talk of sexual assault. So it said Kim hires a bounty hunter, is a female bounty hunter, to kidnap an alien species who can protect her and, you know, marry her. So she isn't interested in a sexual relationship. She just wants someone who can kind of like be there on the property because, you know, she's being like stalked and like this, you know, alien species keeps following her around and scaring her. So she wants to hire, you know, basically hire somebody who can kind of like be a husband to her and protect her from this person that's stalking her. So Nasak is a cat-like alien species that used to be a slave gladiator. And he's been living on the planet and sees Kim, and he becomes infatuated with her. And so much so that he like marks his territory on her door. You know, as the other alien species did in the other book, he marks his territory and leaves it on her door. This doesn't attract her, this frightens her. And she has this farm that grows this stuff that's kind of like catnip, you know, where any of the feline species, if they come into contact with her farm, they, you know, they get really aroused, you know, from this crop. I think it's called Noli, what's it called again? Noli pollen, something like that. And so he sees that she had hired this bounty hunter, and so he goes and basically asks the bounty hunter, like, why did she hire you? You know, like, he's been kind of stalking her and following her around. And so the bounty hunter is like, okay, fine. You want to be her protector? I'll fake kidnap you. So that's what happens. She goes and the bounty hunter drops him off at her door, you know, at Kim's door. And it freaks Kim out because she's like, this is not what I ordered. I don't want this person. This person's been stalking me. So it took like this was a really slow burn romance to where she really was reluctant to get together with him because he scared her. And he doesn't know her customs, you know, he only knows of his customs. So they really had to kind of learn from each other. And so I said, I really liked the fact that his character, Nasak, was really gentle and he was very like patient with her because she was really reluctant to kind of like even be touched by him, you know, because she really was obviously really abused when she was a slave and was not treated really well. So it really took a long time for them to kind of warm up to each other. But the thing that kind of really made it like tank for me was the fact that he kept things from her. And it's like, look, you do not start off a relationship on lies. And he was keeping things from her. And then it kind of went off on other things where they were going off on to the spaceship to meet his family, because after 30 years, his family like put a bounty on him so that way they can find him. And you come to find out that 30 years ago, his family basically sold him into slavery so they can, you know, get better, you know, financially. And now they basically want him to be the heir because all his other siblings died. And I was like, no, we're not doing this. So that's where it kind of like fell apart. Where for me was the whole, he was keeping secrets from her, and it really caused like kind of like a little division between them. And it really made it like where he, you know, he had to almost like start over with her because she really felt like lied and betrayed, and I can understand where she's coming from. But it really kind of like, you know, it really messed up the romance. And then like he was really being like stubborn, and just, yeah, it just really fell apart. And I really was like, eh. And I ended up stop reading that series. I'll eventually go back and read like the other 2 books that are in the series. I'll eventually go back to them. But right now I'm like, I took a break because I was like, as soon as it starts, like a series like is doing well, and if it starts to sputter for me, I kind of stop reading it for a little while and go off and, you know, read something else. So right now I am currently reading, I'll put up this book here. I just started it. It's basically like 2 characters that are kidnapped and them having to kind of put away their differences because they can't. I would say it's mainly, so far from what I can see, the female character does not like the male character. She can't stand him. They haven't liked each other for like 15 years. But I'd say for him, he probably likes her more than what he's letting on. From what I'm getting of like the beginning of the book, he kind of, I kind of can see he probably secretly likes her. I don't know why he'd want to marry her sister though, because I'm like, if I find out, I'm like, he's got like, he's been deep down having feelings for her, then why the F would you marry her sister? That just seems really fucked up. So yeah, for me, I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to see how I like this book. I'll see if I like it. I'll see if I finish it. Some books I end up starting and I don't finish. I end up DNFing in them because, you know, they're just not hitting that for me. So right now I'm reading that. Hopefully it'll be good and I'll like it. But yeah, that's it for this video here. Have yourselves a good day. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Be safe out there. Have a good Halloween. And I will see you all on the next video. All right. Bye.